Hey, hey.
People, what's going on? I am so sorry. My camera's crazily zoomed in. It's a new one. You can't see the Super Saiyan insignia I've got. So, oh well, just imagine it. At least you got this going on. Gamer Dan, nice to see you again. Thanks for the content. You've
Yeah,
been killing
thank
it
you, thank
with
you.
just.
I think I'm getting emotional whiplash from all the gamer stuff that's going on. I mean, we get the Switch 2 direct, we get the corporate chicanery around it. We got the Minecraft movie. Not sure how I feel about it. Not a bad
Mm,
thing. I got thoughts. And we're getting a lot of stuff all happening at once. And on a personal note, as you well know, as our viewers well know, we live in Japan. I'm a Brit, and you're a Brit. We are Brits abroad. Sorry, no, I can't use that. That's used. We are, we're here in Japan, but I'm visiting home in June. And this was organized last year, like November last year. The call was made. The family are all going. Like multiple family members are all going together to coincide. So I get to meet everyone. Great, but tickets were booked, costs were accounted for, and then of course the Switch Direct comes, and the same goddamn month is the Switch 2. Now, as
yes.
a Brit in Japan, I'm sure many of you, if you're watching us, then you are definitely be keeping your ear to the ground about with what's going on with the prices and lots of other things going on. But in Japan, there are two versions of the Switch 2 being released. There is a region locked, which means it's not just you can't. It means you can play any game from any country, but you can only play in it's language locked to Japanese. No other languages. No way around it. Hard locked, and that's 50,000 yen. So that's only like it's a couple of hundred bucks cheaper than the actual launch, which is the multi-language, the international version, which in Japan will not be for sale in retailers. You'll have to go to Nintendo's website themselves. And while I'm a Brit in Japan, I have two Nintendo accounts. I have my primary one, which is a UK account. I've had it for years and years and years and years. It's got all of my uh, save datas, my downloadable games. I've purchased so many freaking games on that thing, so that's my primary account, and I have Nintendo Online. But you can't go for pre-orders without a Japanese account and at least a year subscription of Japanese Nintendo Online. I don't
Uh,
do Nintendo Online with my Japanese account. I just do it for the UK account, and it works for both. So I'm boned. I can't do a pre-order. But then again, because I'm going home in June, I'm actually going to go back home at the end of June and save my money. Save my money for going back home and take a look. I might be able to get myself a Switch 2 in England and then bring it back with me. And then I'll have a multi-language one. Oh, it's just Nintendo are making this way harder than it has to be.
yes, I was thinking.
I'm like, it's annoying. It's annoying. But on that topic, actually, today the theme of today is we're excited in spite of
Exactly.
the
In
stuff, a
spite
whole
of.
bunch of stuff that we are excited for, in spite of these roadblocks. We keep getting roadblocks. We keep getting things slowing us down. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So we're going to move forward.
Mm.
We're jumping straight into a Topic Arlo video. As I know, I love Topic Arlo. It's hilarious. And I'm a Muppets guy, so anyone who's talking about video games using a Muppet, yes, please.
Arlo, take it away.
Um, but he's talking about a recent interview or talk with Reggie Fils-Aimé,
The man
staple of
himself.
Nintendo, a beloved figure. We love Reggie. He stepped down a while back and left the reins to Doug Bowser, which the fact that Bowser
What?
was now in
His
charge of
name.
Nintendo was just everyone had a good feel there about that. It's just circumstance. He got
Yeah.
that was his name, and as far as I'm aware, that's just his name. He got a job, he works his way up, and the man's good at what he does. He's made some really good
Okay.
choices. He's made some more questionable ones. I have highlighted the fact that Nintendo has doesn't seem to keep to the classic ethos of producing quality games and has gone more. trying to be more in keeping with the modern market, for good or bad. But Reggie had some thoughts.
Hey, Mr. Kick Ass and Take Names,
Yeah,
yes.
so we're gonna jump in quickly. We're gonna watch a little bit of the video. Um, he's talking about the welcome pack. Yeah, this
Yeah, there should be free
bot
welcome
type
pack.
thing that for Nintendo that they are charging for. Apparently, they're only charging $10, which
Right.
not a lot, but
Yeah,
it
it's a tenner.
absolutely should have been just in the box. With the
Mm.
Wii Sports was an included game. We just came with it, and it gave you something to do, just something simple to do with the Wii remote. It let people who
Mm.
weren't gamers just something nice and simple, something familiar they could play with the remote and kind of get their head around it.
Yeah, and
And
it took
should have
off
been
because
Astrobot.
of.
I mean, I cannot believe how successful PlayStation's Astrobot has been. The Astro's Playroom was
Mm.
in
Mm.
when I got my PS5. It was the first thing I did. It was bam. It was on the console. I turned the damn thing on. I logged into my PlayStation account, updated, and it went bam, number one, Astro's Playroom, and I played it, and I freaking loved it, and I'm so much more comfortable with the console, so much more verbose with it. It was just a loving, a
Right.
loving, just a tiny little game. It was like a mini game, a couple of mini games at best, but seeing familiar characters represented in it, and seeing just like so many great nostalgic moments. Yeah,
This is
it
it.
really made me happy to play it, and it really cemented that this was a good purchase because it was an expensive console.
Exactly. The least I can do is like a gesture of goodwill. But Sonny, at the same time, how much was the PlayStation 5 again at launch?
PlayStation 5 at launch was quite pricey, but if I recall correctly, the launch wasn't that far before COVID. So for a long time, COVID hampered production, and it was really hard to get copies. That's why scalpers were making out with like gangbusters, and it became a real problem. PS5 launch date, yeah, November 2020, not long
But there
before
you go.
COVID, man. And
Yes.
yeah, PS4 games were pretty much all that it came out, all that you could do with it. Launch price, yeah, USDA 500 in America.
Right, so look,
You
it's 500. And so it
500
kind of,
in America. It was 50,000 yen in Japan. It was That's just the base edition, just like the base edition, and wow, yeah, that sucks. It's,
right. But here's the thing. I mean, on that basis, the least they could do is give you Astro for free, relatively speaking. And here we are. The Switch, the region lock Switch is cheap. Switch 2 is even cheaper than the international one. So, but even so, I guess it would have been a great gesture of goodwill to just give it for free. I guess what we're
I,
dealing with is they need it's a nickeling and diming culture, I suppose.
it is, it
But
is.
they got to pay bills, like we say.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I don't begrudge a company for making money. I'm not one of these high-eyed egalitarian. We got to work together. No, no,
Mm,
people got bills to
really
pay.
real.
It's
Yeah.
not fair. I get it, and I comfortable. I accept the fact that people got bills to pay. People need an income, and so companies that do try to make a profit and then pay their workers. People who do good
Mm,
work. All your office managers, your art directors, your artists, your developers, everyone they've got bills that need paid. So if a company takes care of them, yeah, good for you. You make more money on top of that. Well done.
exactly.
You know, it's like I'm of two minds when it comes to like finance bros. You got these guys who make enormous amounts of money, but
Mm,
their paychecks aren't that impressive for the industry. They're pretty basic. But when they make good strategies, when they come up with good designs and they use their knowledge and their experience, their connections to find information and make an effective strategy that makes a company a lot of money, they get a bonus. Now,
mm,
I think that's fair. I think that if you put in the work and spend 6 months developing a business strategy and then your company made 20 million, you get a cut of
mm.
that, man. You well done. You get a reward. You did really, really well. You went above and beyond and you created something that someone used to make a lot of money. The problem is when that's standard. Like that's a bonus.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that's going above and beyond. Everyone should be given an opportunity to get a bonus. You know, it's in Japan. It's a different culture here. Like you work and then once a year you get a big fat ass bonus at the end of the year, and that's why people tend to buy their white goods, their fridges, their washing cleaners, their consoles at that time
Mm.
because that's the time when everyone gets the bonus for the year, and then they use that bonus to buy stuff for the family. That's where people buy their end of year gifts, Christmas time stuff. That
Exactly.
makes sense. It's a big upfront cost, but they sell these things at the same time as people get a chunk of money to spend. That's general living costs are maintained with your average paycheck. But at the end of the year, when you get a big ass chunk for doing good, you did good, well done. Here is a bonus. Here's a reward for doing good. If you did basic, then well, no, you just did bare minimum. What's it called? Quiet quitting, where you go to work and
Yes.
you do the job that you're hired to do. There is nothing wrong with that. If you just want to do the job to the letter of the law, then you do the job and then you get your paycheck and that's it. But if you go above and beyond, I expect the company to reward you. I
That'd be
expect the
nice.
company to give you some kind of compensation.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically capitalism. It's just you earn what you work for. Now, here's the thing. Like, remember? Oh my gosh, everybody! Just so you know, in Japan, there's an app called Line, and sometimes I send
It's
messages.
the app. Yeah, we don't have like a
Yes.
bunch of different apps. Everyone
It's
uses Line. Companies use
yeah.
Line. Families use Line. Lovers use Line. Everyone uses Line.
That
But
is
it's
it. And
online.
yeah, it's very confusing when you say maybe
That's
online.
great.
I'm
It's
like,
such a great name.
yes,
It's so pitch perfect. It is.
yes.
No notes. No notes.
But yeah, and now for that being said, everyone, I sent Gamerdan. In fact, Gamerdan, remember I sent you a link about I think a company's PlayStation following suit of Nintendo selling a game for
Ah, yes.
$100 recently. But I unfortunately I lost my link because I had
Version
Here it
my
is.
data not backed up. Yeah, do you have it? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
So
Who's
let's have a
it?
look at this because you warned against this before. I've warned against this before. It's the corporate chicanery of the highest order. We'll go back to
Mhm.
Reggie, hopefully in a bit. But let's have a quick look at this video, see what people are saying.
Mhm. Flash, mate.
Yellow Flash. I haven't heard of this one. This is new to me.
Yeah,
and
he
those
ran into him the other day.
in the UK are sold out. You can't get them anymore.
Yeah,
They're
no surprise.
gone.
Mhm.
Listen, scalpers, fans, who knows? I saw a lot of people in my previous video saying that scalpers probably bought all of them. I don't know. I
Hope
can
not.
say this.
Mhm.
The system is going to sell out. Definitely on launch day.
Yeah.
We'll see if people are willing to pay those scalper prices if that is the case. But no matter how you feel about it, this was always going to sell out on
Like you
launch,
mentioned.
and the pre-orders were always going to sell. They're going to sell.
Yeah, I
The
mentioned
top.
this to you. I said, look,
Mhm.
I am frustrated by the prices, but I Nintendo have a hit on their hands. The
Yeah,
Switch 2 is too good a console. The console itself is exceptionally good. It's everything we wanted and more.
exactly. That's the thing,
It's
and
just
it's
the
just
pricing. It's just
can't
the
fail.
pricing. It's like
Mm.
they've cranked up the prices and they've cranked up the price on every aspect. It's not like, oh, we've made the console more expensive. No, no, no. They made the console more expensive, the game's more expensive, the peripheral is more expensive, the
Yeah,
online service is more expensive. Everything across the
drag it.
board is pricier. Like,
It's
and
very Bowser, isn't
the
it?
cheapest way to buy the console and Super Mario World is digitally. And for people who want a physical copy, people who want an actual copy, we're seeing a
Mm.
lot of movement by Nintendo moving away from digital away from physical towards they're going to digital. I don't like that
Yeah,
because it
me
puts
too.
more control within Nintendo's hands, and that's what
Yeah,
it's what EA has been doing, it's what Activision has been doing, it's what
and if
Sony
you
and
get your
Microsoft have
game
been doing,
yanked,
and
it's
now
just
Nintendo are doing it too. And I'm like,
I'm like,
dude,
no,
if
please.
your servers go down, like PlayStations have done twice now, twice their servers have gone down, and people just couldn't play games.
Which is
What do
gonna
they do?
happen, by the way. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's going
I
to happen.
know.
It's happening more and
Yeah,
more. It's happening exponentially faster now because more and more people are playing, more and more people are online. All your data's online, so of course people are going to do that. But
definitely. And not,
if a company pivots to a digital platform, it's susceptible to digital stresses and strains and problems.
yeah.
Having a physical
Oh,
copy means that I don't need it online. I could just
yeah.
play.
Not to mention that, some people are always, there's probably espionage or some sort of somebody sabotaging the whole company. Or who want to sabotage a company like this. By doing such a thing, I'm sure that there's hackers involved with DDoS attacks, which are quite prevalent. That's not the only way to do it, but yeah, there's no question that it could be weaponized.
No, absolutely.
Bloody hell. But yeah,
Right.
let's keep going. It's fine. But if you need to scrub through, that's fine. I think you get when you see you actually bring up the game, the
About
PlayStation game, and you start talking about it.
the real
Ah.
question that I really know, you're just getting Last of Us.
Oh, actually, this is interesting. The Last of Us Complete Edition is compared. It's $100, 100 quid
Yeah,
on PlayStation
100
5. Now,
quid.
I haven't played Last of Us 1 or 2, but a lot of people are very, very angry because The Last of Us came out on the PlayStation 3. Then
Mm,
PlayStation 4 got a remastered version as well as a sequel. Then PlayStation 5 got a remastered of the first and the second. So we've had like five versions, five games so far. The first one had three, the second one had two, and now I've got another version, which is one and two remastered as a bundle. How many times do we have to pay for it? How many copies do you want people to buy? I mean, we've sold this
it's
already.
a it's
People have
taking the
got
mick.
it. Yeah, it's just look, they got kind of a winner with Last of Us. The first one was
Mm,
so well received, so well loved. People
mm,
adored it, but it's a single player game. It's a single story. You play it, it's done. So they just wanted to double dip. So what do? They polish it up, they bring it back out again, they put in a fresh coat, paid a fresh
FIFA.
coat, made on it, and put it up on the corner for sale again.
Yeah, good grief. Yeah.
PS5 and Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
What?
look at this. Collector's edition. Over $100, over $100, and it's just the first and the second as a bundle.
It's actually what you said, given that you mentioned this. I also agree, but you said that once Nintendo does the Mario Kart thing, the other companies and they say, "Oh yeah, well we can hold my beer,
Yeah.
we're not use it, bleed neck," and it may just turn people off. At the same time, I don't know. On one hand, you can deal with money here that's not easy to come by these days. It's
Well,
it's
I think it's been a tumultuous generation. The
mm,
Switch has done amazingly successful, but they also they double dipped with Wii U games, but that was largely because nobody purchased them. They
mm,
well, most people were playing them for the first time on the Switch, myself included. So it felt right that they were bringing the best games from the Switch from the Wii U to the Switch. It's not a huge leap. They just give it a quick polish, different control scheme. Boom, you've got a great game. I got to play Donkey Kong Tropical Fury, which is hands down my favorite Donkey Kong game. It's just amazing. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 was a Wii U game.
exactly.
They just brought the game back with more stuff, and they just kept adding and adding to it. Yes, and that was one of the biggest sellers on the console, which is why they're doing Mario Kart World straight off the bat as a launch title. But because nobody purchased the Wii U, releasing it to the Switch made sense. It was giving people an opportunity to play it.
Yeah, the games they missed.
But we had a similar situation with PlayStation. PlayStation 4, a lot of PlayStation 4 games, a lot of PlayStation 5 games have just been last generation stuff because there wasn't
Yeah,
a lot of confidence by investors in video games. They thought it was kind of bottoming out. There was a bit of a scare a decade ago, and so there was the money was being pulled out of the industry, and people were scared. The investors, the people with money, didn't think it was going to work. So we got a lot of remakes. We got a lot of ports. A lot of the games, especially for the PlayStation 4 at the start, were just ports of earlier games. And unfortunately, because they sold, that's told the industry the wrong lesson. They retaught Nintendo and Sony and Xbox the wrong lesson that we're willing to buy these games over again and again and again. No, in those instances, they were difficult circumstances. You didn't have anything for the PlayStation, so they needed to bring back earlier games to give us something to play. And for Nintendo, we didn't buy your last console. So bringing back the
Mm.
games that were good on that console, yeah, that makes sense. But don't do this all the time. This is not a well that runs infinite. This isn't a river. Sorry, poor analogy. This isn't a river that can run forever. You can't get an infinite amount of water. This is a well. It will run dry, and people will be pissed if you're just rehashing the same game over and over and over without adding more content.
That is
People are
it.
going to get
You know
angry.
what? I think that I think it's not too late to do that idea I pitched out there last time. Which was, I think that Nintendo could still suddenly surprise people and say, guess what? We're gonna add a new AI feature that somehow tweaks the older games, not to the point where you take jobs away, but it gives you a different experience. Same game, but it does something to it. Either, like you say, we're just sharing the screen. If there's AI figuring out of frames to get rid of the lagging for you, or it adds an extra bonus character or something. Well, no, not necessarily something to
Have
you
a
can take
promo.
away the work. It's
Yeah,
just
I think
something. What do you
it's a
think?
great idea, but have you seen the Microsoft
The
AI that's
news.
playing Quake 2? The fact that it's
Uh-huh.
playing Quake 2 is impressive, but it's awful. It is
Oh,
awful at playing, all right? It has no object permanence. The moment it turns away from an enemy, it forgets that there's an enemy and it just keeps taking damage. And you're like, wow, we teach toddlers have got freaking object permanence. We teach babies this. And maybe fair. We're seeing
mm,
baby. This is AI's, you know, AI Chan's baby. Um, they're just going through the motions, and eventually, yeah, you're right. They will be able to do this. They'll be able to quickly and effectively add gameplay features, gameplay additions, even interactable NPCs. But we are not there yet, and the process needs to be done with the customer in mind, with the game in mind. That was what people loved about Nintendo. That's why people still hold true to Nintendo. It's because they
the
were supposed
care.
to be about the game first, you know.
Yeah, you're
But
right. I guess you can't rush it.
it is crazy
Mm,
that Nintendo. I think Nintendo made it okay. Microsoft were the ones who brought microtransactions on smartphone mechanics, smartphone microtransactions to mainstream gaming. They were the first.
mm.
You know, just Dead Space. It was Microsoft. They just like, oh yeah, we want to add microtransactions. Um,
Microsoft, eh?
Yeah, Microsoft did it. They were the ones who opened the sluice gate, and then everyone started doing it gradually, gradually. And Nintendo now have just kind of ranked up the price, and everyone's gone, "Oh, the price can go up, great!" And they're going to start charging more, and it's inevitable. But on that topic of being charged more, we're going to flash back to Reggie Fils-Aimé's point
Yeah.
with Arlo. We're
The
going to
fact
skip
that
into the video.
Nintendo is charging
Thank
money
you.
for Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which is a little piece of software that gives users a very kind of a deep dive, little like museum tour kind of thing of the Switch 2 and all of its features and things, and gives a bunch of
I mean,
mini
it looks cute.
games showing off
Hmm.
all of its new stuff.
Maybe.
Joy-Con stuff. It really does seem to be the kind of thing that should just come preloaded on every Switch 2. I
I think
think
so.
most of us
Mm,
are in agreement there. When they were first showing it off, I was like, "Hey, that's a cool idea." And then they
yeah,
said
it
it
looks
would
like
be
it.
paid
Like a
software, and
preload.
what? And I'm like, I don't. A few bucks. I might pay a few bucks for it, or whatever. And then they announced that at least here in the U.S., $10 $10. And I certainly don't think that that's it's a good idea to charge that much. Really, just charging any amount whatsoever is going to just like even if it was a couple dollars, so dramatically reduce the number of people who actually end up playing it. So I do think it's a bad idea, but there's
Bowser.
someone else with little bit more cred than this guy, and he also thinks it's a bad idea. Reggie himself kind of chimed in on
Oh
social
my God.
media. He didn't say anything directly or specifically. He did not. He did not mention the game at all. All he did was he clipped out
some bits from an old IGN article that he did where he tells the stories about how multiple times throughout his time at Nintendo, he basically had to like fight them to pack games in, at least here in North America. The first case was Wii Sports.
We need him back.
Well, it's funny because Wii Sports was not packaged in Japan. It was notably separate. It was
Oh,
packaged in the European and the American ones. I think, yeah, I think it wasn't packaged in the Japanese one.
With the
we need Reggie back,
that
man.
was Reggie.
Oh, well, he was.
Like that was Reggie. Nintendo
Yeah.
Japan did not want to do it. It was like a big thing, and he was like, "You absolutely have to." And ultimately, he was right. Like the Wii became the craze that it was because that
Cause of these
software
bloody sports.
so perfectly showed it off and
Yeah.
so immediately connected with people. Everybody knows what a
What
baseball
it
bat
is.
and how to swing it, how
Exactly.
to
It's
throw a
intuitive.
bowling ball.
That's the word. It gave people an intuitive way to use the new technology. And
Mm.
everyone remembers those videos of grannies playing tennis or parents trying games with their kids. That was a whole part of the marketing. It was the family fun that everyone connected. And we're having these sports in the box meant that all you did was buy the console and you did something with the family. It was like, hey,
Yeah.
this is the proving ground. This is what the console's all about, and it caught people's attention, and it was absolutely made people who would not have usually played games get
Mm.
up and give it a try. Go on,
Exactly.
give it a try.
It's such
So
a hit.
it was amazing. I mean, the Wii crushed that generation. It was,
Yeah, my God.
the horsepower beneath it. Poor thing's sick and lame. Should have gone to a glue factory. There was no power to that horse, but it was fun and intuitive. It was cute. Or what does Yahtzee Croshaw for Zero Punctuation says the Wii was basically two GameCubes duct taped together, and he's not
Oh,
wrong.
it's true.
It was so perfectly keeping with Nintendo's business idea acumen. It was with
Mm.
their entire ethos. They were about novel ways to play, fun ways to engage with the games, and Wii was chess kiss perfect for that.
Mm.
It was so successful. That's why other companies brought out Kinects and they brought their own versions, the PlayStation Move and stuff
Move.
like that. It
Mm.
was just so novel. And
Exactly.
then moving on to like the Joy Cons and having that ability, it's so
Mm.
perfect for gaming. But the fact that Reggie fought to get something in the box, the console was expensive, the console was unintuitive,
Mm.
get people doing something with it straight off the bat.
Everybody, yeah, everybody's.
Absolutely.
It's a textbook. I mean, it's a history. Again literally studied in universities, of course. Yeah, I can
Uh-huh.
testify to that. It's just how you sell things. You got to give somebody things in good faith and
Well,
let them know.
that's where I think there's a bit of a problem because the Switch 2 is just a souped up version of the Switch. And people who already have a Switch, they get what it's about. The first one, the Switch, sure. And the PlayStation 5 wanted to show off what it was capable of. That's why Astro's Room was graphically impressive. It was immediate and responsive. It was like, yo, look at what this is the basic. This is the new baseline of what you should be expecting from games on our console. Really impressive. Kind of got me excited about playing on the PlayStation 5. Um, but the Switch is not an unknown. The Switch is like one of the most successful consoles of all time. Everyone and
That's a good
their
argument, a good
grandmother's
counter
got a
argument.
Switch. So
Yeah,
a game like this only serves to highlight like the improvements, the upgrades.
yeah, that's
Um,
a good counter argument, yeah, Dan. That's a very good counter
so
argument.
so putting it in box, if this was like for Switch One, absolutely must
Mm.
have been in box. But I can kind of see them going, yeah, most people get it already. This is just like a little bit extra to have a bit of fun, to have a wander around, see what were available. I still think it should have been put in box, but I can see why it wouldn't be needed. Right, well, down to like 30 seconds. We're going to put a pin in this. We'll be
That's a
back
good
with
point.
part
I
two.
never thought about that perspective. That's a good one. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Yeah, mate. And who knows? Maybe with Microsoft stuff. Maybe if you have
Yeah,
time,
yeah. Actually,
mention
I'm
it
kind of
to
busy
people.
today, so we'll be having a short one this week. But live, laugh, love, share, like, subscribe, all the jazz. We'll be back soon. We've got a lot more content.